Hello to everyone, and also grazie mille to everyone. Hola.
I appreciate you on so many levels, Stephen. I've read your work and I did read your Echo article, which is great. I read your post on LinkedIn, and we're connected in the sense of I'm aligned with your commitment to the cultural and yeah, just the diversity on the ground and
Yes.
really working on the ground to bring change. Well, if, for instance, on the simplest level, really, as it turns out, if a corporation wants to take a brand to a company, and how many mistakes happens at that level when you're trying to, pitch your brand to the local population, and you don't
Right.
even really understand who they are or what they value. And then when I was reading over your article, which I hope I'm going to paste the URL at the bottom of our conversation, I was struck also by your tremendous impact with metrics and how you really do an upfront assessment. You measure the impact of the changes, and you have real solid on the ground metrics to show that your approaches really had a significant difference. So I really appreciate you on so many levels, and also the spiritual commitment that you have, because I know that's a deep driving center core for you and your family. So I really appreciate all that you bring to the table.
And Marsha, really, how that concept of me working on the spiritual spectrum of the modality, other than that of CQ and emotional intelligence, is that the last president of Merck pharmaceutical company was, and he said something that was very profound. He said, "Our company Merck has a bright future because it has a soul." So it let me know, it's like, hold up, did I hear him right? And so I played the recording back several times over to make sure that it got ingrained into my psyche. And I was like, so what he's actually saying, that if a company has a soul, that means it has a spiritual imprint that it leaves on a person. So I started thinking, I started going back, and I was like, thinking of something. I said, oh, now hold up. Now Coca-Cola has a soul or a spiritual jingle. So when you hear that, back in the early 80s when they had that jingle, I like to sing the world and live with harmony. I
That's
like to
true.
drink the world with Coke and keep it harmony.
I love it. I love it. I had forgotten it, but of course it's ingrained,
And,
isn't it?
and
I
so
can sing the words
when
now.
whenever you hear that jingle, automatically the words come to you automatically. Why? Because the imprint of the soul of Coca-Cola has imprinted through the metrics or through the vibration or through the frequency, however you desire to prospectively look at it. They have left a imprint upon the soul of your psyche to never forget their company just by hearing the song. And
Yeah.
so I started working from that modality. And the first time I did, I worked with a gentleman out of Herndon, Virginia. And when I worked with him and his company, he got himself the CEO, he got the HR, got the R&D, and the sales and marketing team. And when I met with him, he was like, "Mr. Underwood, I was going to be honest with you. I was going to tell my HR director to cancel the meeting." He said, "Because I thought you was going to come in here with a lot of woo woo and a lot of hoopla and all this type of stuff." And I knew in my mind, I was like, and something just inside of me said, "Just ask him why was he going to cancel." And so I did. Long story short, he was like, "I thought you was gonna come in here proselyting and all this type." I said, "Sir,
Right.
don't confuse spiritual intelligence with spiritual practice." I said, "Spiritual practice has to do with a form of religion, sect of faith, or a group that you belong to or don't belong to." I said, "That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to deal with your bottom line." And then I asked them a question. I said, "I could look at your HR to your sales and marketing and ask what type of leader you are without having to say a word." I said, "Just by seeing the look of expression on their face would let me know what type of leader you are." So what I'm dealing with you about, sir, when I talk to you about spiritual intelligence, is that everywhere you go, you take you with you. If you're nasty here, guess what? You could go to Belgium, you could go to the next country over or the next state. If you're a nasty leader here in this city or this state, guess what? You're going to be a nasty, you're going to be a contriving, you're going to be a rude and just a mean leader in another. I said, so what I'm talking about the fabric of your mannerism and your behavior of who you are as a leader. And
this is another aspect of your practice, because not only do you look at the company return on investment in terms of their branding and looking at when they're going into a local community, what that local community really responds to, but you're also working intimately with leaders, because you're so right. If you were happy here, you're going to be happy there. You know, if you're not happy here, you're not going to be happy there. And so much of that, there's no magic to it really with that kind of understanding. I wasn't aware that you were focusing on women. For some reason, I had a different kind of perspective. I was reading your Echo article that we'll be attaching, and I saw some of the outcomes that you had with Technovations. So those are some really strong outcomes for you. So, but what have you been, what made you focus with women, and what are you actually doing with them now?
Yes, as you can see behind me, that's me to the right and to the left. That is actually Your Excellency Ambassador Kitko Nagayo out of Chad, out of the Chad government of the continent of Africa. And so I attended this meeting here, which was Women in Security, Governance, and Technology. And one of the things that I found very interesting and what made me get involved and kind of shift and revamp our structure of dealing and working with women is because as a man, I did not want to see women in general make some of the stifling and some of the atrocity offenses in the workplace that men have caused, not only to other men, but what some men in leadership have caused to women. And so I wanted to deal with that. And so attending this meeting with Your Excellency Nikitiko Dagayo out of the Chad continent of Africa, it gave me opportunity to open up a new door of working with a new brand market of women. And so it gave me the opportunity to deal with them that work in IT and that work in software engineering and also in data science, because these sciences these industries are still male dominated, and majority of these women, they still have, problematic issues in those marketplaces. I'm the global corporate peacemaker of my company, Alchemy Global Consultancy Solutions. And our mission is to bridge the gap of miscommunication and misalignment to help high-tech individuals, especially women between the ages of 25 to 65, deal with stress, fatigue, tiredness, and burnout on an everyday, daily basis to get a curve upon those triggers before they actually ruin their brilliancy and and interrupt their brightness. And so we're doing that from the modality of what we do from spiritual intelligence, but our proprietary system is called Divine Inclusive Intelligence, Intelligent Inclusive System. And so we do that through our system that we do here at UCAN Alchemy Global Consultancy Solutions.